Hello again. So, in case you didn't know, aside from making stuff, I'm also playing in a couple of bands, and every band should have some merch for people who would like to have something to take home after the gig. It could be stickers, an album, or a t-shirt. Unfortunately, the process of manufacturing a t-shirt can be costly, especially when you're thinking about such methods as screen printing, for example, which, in order to at least break even, rises the price that a person would have to pay for such an item. So I decided to make them myself using the LINOPRINT technique, also known as block printing. It's kinda similar to screen printing, it uses the same ink, and in theory should have similar durability, so that's what I'm making today. Okay, so let's see if I can make it right. First of all, I needed to transfer this drawing I made to a sheet of linoleum. I'm using a technique I picked up from another YouTube film, but I can't remember who, sorry. Basically, I need to cover the back of the template with thick layer of pencil graphite. The softer pencil, the better. I'm using 6B for this. Then I placed it on the lino and redrew the graphic with a harder pencil. Keep in mind that the image will be mirrored after printing, so the template has to be flipped horizontally before printing. This took a while and required some patience, but eventually it's the simplest technique I know. There are of course other techniques such as sticky paper or even laser printing, but I'm working with what I have, which in my opinion adds a bit of authenticity to the overall project. It might not be perfect, but it's a DIY thing, so I don't mind for now. After tracing, I carved up the trace lines with some carving tools. You can buy them at your local craft shop fairly cheap. This is by far the most frightening part. I have to be careful not to cut myself or carve too much, which knowing my luck is almost bound to happen. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a blade small enough to cut those thin lines precisely and deep enough, so I had to make some sacrifices with some lines and simplify the design a bit. I had to carve the grooves several times so they are deep enough that the paint won't bleed during the printing stage. I also tried to use a portable rotary tool for the raster pattern, but it was really difficult and turned out bad, but it's not visible in the final print, so it's okay. I've also carved out a new logo since my previous stamp was made from a rubber eraser and wasn't so precise when stamping. The logo itself was designed so it resembles a stamp, so it's only fitting that it would be stamped on a shirt as opposed to printing the design using those advanced methods like laser printing and such. After carving the images, I prepared my blank t-shirt and spread some ink on a piece of glass. I used a rubber roller I got from a home improvement store to spread out the ink onto the lino. After thoroughly covering the design, it's time for the moment of truth. I carefully placed the lino on the t-shirt and pressed the ink using another roller. And it worked. Truth be told, because of the shirt's texture, the image is kind of fuzzy, but I still think it looks good. Next, I added the logo I carved before. And hey, it also turned out nice. In addition, I stamped my self-made Hanko style signature right where the labels are, just to add an extra something. The last step is to iron the print. The ink I used is supposed to be ironed at 150 degrees Celsius for about 5 minutes. After that, the print will be permanent and should endure many washing cycles. I'm placing a plain paper sheet between the iron and the print for small protection, but it's not really necessary. I'm also ironing the back of the print just for good measure. And that's it. Here's how I made our band t-shirts. We want our t-shirts to be affordable to anyone, as in for a price of 2 beers you could have a nice t-shirt that you can wear several times instead of having literally nothing from a couple of brews that you will essentially piss away later. Not to mention you'll be healthier without it. I'm going to make more designs in the future, and maybe I'll start a small Etsy shop or something so you could have one of these, or maybe some of my past and future crafts. Let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in such a thing. In the meantime, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and visit my band's channel too if you like. Link is in the description. I hope to see you in the next one. Have a good coffee, guys.